commodities, it could be anything, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, I don't get the whole thing. This is occupying my mind fully these days. I'm just telling you,
rightfully
be
so.
talking about it.
I think one thing about the real estate market is we know that you only have 5-10% down here, and you can take a mortgage out, so can obviously benefit from them. But as for an ROI standpoint, it's hard, man. When you have $1 million, what are you expecting in a span of 10 years for the thing to double? You know what I mean?
Make one other point. We know how the mortgages work in this country. The majority of the payments are going to what? The interest, not the principal. So you have nothing. You have a way of equity that you cannot redeploy, right? You're going to have so you got to be in the real estate minute on that property, that same property, to redeploy that equity.
It's like the first 10-15 years, the majority of it is just going to interest.
Exactly.
And then after, when you
it's living rent-free in my mind. Brother, I gotta tell you, like, this is really throwing me a curveball right now. Because, like, I based, like, the last 6 months of my life thinking that this is what I'm in. Right now, I don't like to be wishy-washy. Right?
You want to really bounce here and there.
But it's just not the right move.
Let's not beat around the bush with it. You obviously you have your own spot as well too, but for some individuals, one thing that I know, we say to people is that, hey, if you're renting something, you get nothing at that point.
You get nothing.
You get nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Very true.
Pardon me?
You get your first and last back, Fabian.
No, you don't even get that back. You get your damage deposit or whatever.
Yeah, you don't even get.
Are keeping that, but if you own something, at the end of the day, even though if you close at a loss, you some of that mortgage that which you were paying off back, which I think is important, right? So you're not just walking out of the door with completely
But it's not about that. It's opportunity cost. What you get back having committed X amount of money? Committed X amount of money to equities, or in this case, right? If you really want to keep it very straightforward and not have to pick winners and losers, it's the Qs for me. It's the Qs for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think both are at the end of the day. But it's hard because both of them are such great generators. You know what happened in 2017, according to your chart, is when that return rate went parabolic. But at some, what are you expecting on a home? You think you're going to see a 30% return, in which some people were anticipating during the COVID time, and then what happened to them?
And what happened?
They're selling their houses. You're not going to see
let's very clear. We had a decade, almost and change, a decade, I'm saying a quarter, of what? Interest rates damn near zero. You think you're going to see that interest rate environment?
We at 4 or 5 right now. I was looking at it the other day.
The B right? So, interesting comments from you guys. I mean, I agree with most of them. I don't know what his name is because Google's ruining obviously a home for investment purposes only if you really want that pride of ownership and maintenance. I just don't think that that's really what the best really should be based about. I think somebody there said, look, your market's bottoming, meaning the Toronto market. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's market. That's not what I mean at all. But again, get back to stocks here because CNCA is just ripping faces off. Halted again at $6.19. It's up 91%, and it's got volume supporting it. This is the 5-minute. Has about 665,000 candles. 665,000 shares per this 5-minute candle. This 200,020 because it did halt up. So it will be traded as this candle now is the halt candle. So CNCK up 91%. Those FLYE, man, halted $16, rocketing up as well, 276%, and looking to go more, man. I don't even know what the price on these bad boys are. So let's see these screens are. CNCK 19. Is this a New York NASDAQ stock? So it showed me the same price that we halted at. So nothing changing there. FLYE, actually different, almost $1 higher than where we halted. Halt price 1688, 1774. CK and FLY's open. It's an $18 high a day. Halt level, as we mentioned, 1680 something. So that level to hold up. Right now it's 7 holding up. There's a buyer in the mid 40s. Go again in the 70. The bid is moving up. The ask is not. New high a day, Joey, 18, up over 300% now. It's all gas, no brakes right now on FLY, or I should say no brakes on this one. Keep your eye on this one. This could hit $20 soon. The limit up is 1974, where we're gonna halt if we reach that time. Keep your eye on the red rectangles right there where it says limit up, limit down, LULD, 1974 limit up price. Want to move up here for FLY on CNCK as well. Christopher, could you please tell me why the break FLYE today? I keep looking and don't see anything. Brother, it really doesn't matter. But if you really want something, let me have a look at the blotter here for you. We'll see. Nope. No, I actually don't see anything. Good point. Yeah, getting on the blotter or just notifications that it's halting up and down, but I don't see anything news related. Now, it does play a factor, continues to move up, but as you can see here, this guy's got no news catalyst. It's up 320. I put a kibosh.
Yeah, same thing. One thing I'm thinking, Street. So when I was looking at places last night, So the unit that's literally across the street, so it's a lower rise.
Less than what you hold up
for.
My man.
Even more.
My man.
Even
And condos
more.
are getting hit
More.
way harder. Like, dude, the guy below me just sold, and it's a couple actually.
Yeah.
They're an older couple. They're moving into not senior zones or retirement homes. This dude sold for, I think, 50 less than he was listing for. And the only way I found out is I asked him point blank. Obviously thinking about it, right? And he was just, dude, he was
I would not be happy either.
150,000. And I got kind of pissed.
I'd be like, why didn't you fire your real estate agent?
I didn't say that, but I should have. But him selling obviously hurts the building because you bring down exactly hurts the building. It's something that.
All right, yeah, right back into this here. I mean, they're the short signal coming into play now. You take the first attempt, you don't get it, it wicks more people out, prints it again, and then starts to be a little bit lower. So there it is on the on NVDA as well. What to do here, guys, I'm at the look. This is here on Google. So I'm going to take a little stab here to see if we can get involved. 317 close enough, for 30 pennies away from that. So let's get this party started and see if we're going to drop into the range. Now, if we're going to look at hot names, there it is, bang, starting to cook for us. Well defined, guys. We only have to give it roughly, so we're in at 78 with the view up 60 cents. So that's not bad whatsoever. We're going to launch to this, aim towards this prior resistance zone, and just keep the tape. We're going to put on our quote high to see if there's going to be any definitive ladder on direction. So to make this a little bit smaller, we're going to send it over to put it over to 500, and then sure enough but nothing substantial. Maybe we just a little bit more cooler, so we'll go with 200 to see those quotes start to. And from what I'm realizing right now, that the ladder is on the bid side. Best signs, but we're going to keep an eye on tape, and if we get those continuous flushes of green, that tells that we anticipating and aggressive, and that's what we want to see. But if the floor breaks and you snap through the volume velocity, watch out. I am going to be getting out of this trade 110%.
You guys should have told your building, says JL 820. Just get an EV charging port in that. God, dinosaurs I got a there. And can I say something to you? Do you remember in July 2024 we had like that torrential downpour? A lot of people's basements got flooded. Yada yada. I don't know if you remember. Anyway, the basement where the gym is forever. It shut. It's been now a year, almost and a half of an incomplete gym. Like they opened it, but it was like bare walls and there was no television.
Really?
There was Wi-Fi to be fair. Now it's empty. So, I mean, the dinosaurs, they don't really care about anything other than matter to the older folk there, but they're not really interested in doing anything.
Like, you're paying your maintenance fee. What are they seeing? Obviously, he's on.
Well, we're changing 4 elevators right now. Special assessment.
Oh,
That's
good. Yeah.
So it was all right.
And that's what I'm out on, right? Like, people say, yeah, with housing you have maintenance. Obviously, you gotta buy a new roof every years. But don't forget about the condo, the maintenance fee you know back, and you can get hit.
You raised the maintenance fee.
10%.
Yeah. Well, no, we got
5%.
3%.
Really?
On mine, yeah.
So when COVID, so they didn't raise, but on the year that they did, it was 10%.
Ooh.
5%.
Yeah, because it was that huge inflation, though, right?
There's no ceiling on that.
No.
Why would I want to own an older building with a high
Older buildings by default, yeah.
So I don't know, it just makes sense. There should be a ceiling on it. All right, guys, there we go. Come on, Google, get this party started. As we're starting to see Amazon starting to climb. Guess who put in a new high of the day? You guessed it, Apple, for sure. This thing is in its. Go for this volume print though. Big boy volume right there. 378,000.
I do. I see that huge volume.
Shares traded so far right at that 280 level. We have, because this could be something potentially massive. What is this telling us? Because it is the second day, so there might be some news on our hands to wait. And aside from that, I'm stuck in a consolidative stock, and that is goggles.
All right, one and a stop on this stock over here. There's a seller at 73K. Let's see if we can shake that. I'm gonna post at 88. So just got in for like a small amount. See if we get a price spike up on. We haven't seen that level in a hot minute. 73. We're showing 59s where there's a seller. Hawaii is just absolute rocketing up. It is now up 370%. Where is that FLYE? Up to 2140. Ask no breaks on this one. Be careful with that on you in a second. My eye here on CNCK as we get a trade into this one. Looking for a move into set. Dips down, I think, or it's a candle of indecision prior, an ugly topping tail candle. Mine. If it loses 6, I think I'm going to stop. I'd already stopped it on CNCK there. If this one pops down or drops down to about 575, that's where VWAP is. VWAP, I wouldn't say, than the 10 EMA right now. There seems to be a 6 buyer here, really in and around that area, Joey. 105. Are you looking?
No, I'm just still in the same trade, man. We can have the news at any given moment. Again, I'm not going to put. I have plenty of risk. It's just I'm in sync. Nothing's working for me. I go long. It So it's just one of those days you have to come to the realization on yours. This can start working, and if it does, there's to it. But right quarter of a risk, only giving it to the volume weighted average price to see if we can even get this working. So being self-aware is extremely important, guys. It's not your session. Tomorrow we have Wednesday, we have Thursday, and we have Friday, and you want to keep those losses as small so you sloping equity curve. Full disclosure, well, too, guys, on my IBIT position, some more calls. I thought we would see a little bit more of a bounce, whatever price it was. I mean, really, thing or whatever it may be. But yeah, selling some more calls that expire in early January, collect a little bit of premium. If we don't get a sustained bounce back up to 90, 97, I'm just gonna have to cut that position for okay with that. Someone said the dip fine at night. I'm like, yeah. You might be right on that. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on it, but still selling man's covered calls, and we're gonna rock them.
All right, man. We did okay here on the second attempt here on. We got in at 22s, and we took. This candle has current high of $7, almost on the dot. In fact, sorry, 7 to be exact. And this one's right back into 7. It is finding resistance almost at every $7 one on prior bar lows. So I said we're already dipping down. We're right at prior bar low, $6. Let's just get out at 6. So I did, and it ended up being a profitable trade. So we'll see if we can get back into this one. Stop 2. Let's see what we got here on news on the day, Joey. Let's bring it in from the side screen over here. I don't know what I did. Okay, well, we can just load it up again. Excuse me. Put up that bad boy. No, got it. It's not time for this at the moment. Oh, that's the wrong one, Joe. There we go. I apologize. Give me 1 second here to get ready. There we go. We're good to go. All right. This is an interesting day, obviously, in talking about right now. Crypto down again, and Bitcoin absolutely getting. Depends on when your percentage up and percentage down, or percentage up and down on the timer starts, but we're down 6.86 on my chart, on 9.5, 9.5 on Solana. So there's blood in the streets anywhere you look here. And let's talk about it. Bitcoin slipped 0.4%. That was in the pre-market. Now it's worth down to 86,435. Now it's at 85. Extending, of course, the broader October, November, and reinforcing that bear had as of late in crypto. 5% now. Solana, Dogecoin down. It's a broad risk-off rotation across crypto assets. Not really anything scared. Couple of reasons. We'll get to the main one in a second, but was positing that the China over the weekend issued a warning of digital currency activities, adding stress to the Asian-listed crypto-exposed equities, and investors continue viewing China's stance as an regulatory overhang that suppresses regional risk appetite, of course, out in Asia for crypto and Bitcoin, of course, linked equities. But the real reason, I don't really know what the real reason is. One of the major, the flushing leveraged positions. Fed Watch advisors, Dan DeMan-Emmons, who used to be in the chat all the time, he highlighted a $400 million exchange as a major catalyst. Monday's sharp reversal. Bitcoin exchange leverage remains with up to 200 times like the local, I want to say onshore brokerages, but if you want to go offshore, it gets way crazier than that. An estimated $787 billion in perpetual futures exposures that are outstanding. I don't even know what that is. I gotta look that up. In comparison, only about $135 billion sits outside spot that magnifies liquidation cascades during the sell-offs. That's a whole lot of information, a lot of big words. Joey, what's your take on you selling off on crypto?
You know what? I honestly knew the answer to it. I think I would be able to on this thing substantially better, fortunate than what we're seeing. As for the liquid industry, it's crazy to think that people are going to over leverage on this little move from 84,000 up to 2, and then sure enough, that these liquidation events, this was the largest ever. But it is BlackRock's most asset yet. Absolutely insane. This thing has been one of the best performing ETFs all time from a revenue standpoint. Now, is it from an equity standpoint good? No, absolutely not. But again, if we head to what we're seeing from the technicals, in the nature of the beast, it does things. And sure enough, what it's going to do is that it's going to, with a point where it's like, hey, is it truly even worth it anymore? And then at that point, you can turn around. I think that we're going to see or seems like we're heading to what now, with another liquidation event. You have the moment to the downside, and if key support continue to be breached, you, like Neil said, have to continue to that next specific level. No, I don't love it, to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and from the fact that it's done these 50% returns before. So what Kevin O'Leary said is you have to be ready to stop volatility, and we're right now, considering we're down 41,000, a little bit from that
Company that was doing the 1,200 times, company called Coin Futures. When I did on TikTok like a couple of weeks ago, it was 200. Now they're dropping it. It's 1,000 times leverage for certain pairs. So you have to trade like another pair, and then you get. But like C, like if you type in MEX 500 times C leverage, here it is. trade BTC, ETH, altcoin futures with up to 500 times leverage. Stuff now, but now look, dropping it, Joey. Now that the input was wrong, now they're 200 times leverage. So I think some of these brokerages are pulling back a little bit the amount of you, which makes sense because the class keeps dropping.
Some more clarity on this stuff.
They're not so-called onshore exchanges.
Oh,
they're offshore exchanges,
yeah.
right? We can't regulate these back.
Listen, let's not kid here. I thought clarity would have drove to all-time highs, but that's not the case. We're actually seeing the total opposite, 5%.
All right, let's go on to the next story. Intel, new catalyst possibly to a 2027 foundry deal. Nothing is for sure about this though. To the tune of 10%, where they INTC down 1.8, but above $40 nonetheless. TF International, Quo said industry checks improving visibility on Apple supplying Intel supplying Apple with its lowest end processor. Quo expects Intel shipping these chips to Apple in Q2 or Q3 of 2027. So we have a long way to go on Apple receiving Intel's process design kit in early 26. Make a decision. Currently, exclusively, I should say, on Taiwan Semiconductor for all of its A series and M series chips, and Intel mark a significant milestone for the company. Also went on to stress the initial will be small and they will have material hit to Taiwan Semiconductor, but added the partnership signals renewed trust by big tech and companies in Intel, and specifically their foundry business and their chips. Apple support for Intel would align with U.S. policy momentum, which in the local. Joey, when President Trump took, of course, the U.S. taxpayer took an interest, but the instructions of President Trump into Intel, what's the first thing that I said? He was look for a customer. That's the first thing he was going to do. Obviously, persuading people behind the scenes. As a found a possible tie-up. Now we're hanging with Apple, not quite yet, which is still relying exclusively on Semi, but we don't know what the future brings. Let's see what this could mean for Intel in the future. And let's note that landing Apple foundry client would validate Intel's foundry strategy, potentially attract other that this is for their 8 node, not their 14A, which is more like the 3 and the 4 nanometer Taiwan Semi speak. Intel was referenced in a Taiwan lawsuit involving alleged leak potential information by a former TSLA exec. Intel declined to comment. Noted in Taiwan, they went through all his crap, and they're accusing him. I don't know the exact details. I saw little snippets here and there, but making trade secrets staying on over for a new job, Intel, and showing them all that
hired. But no one else. The Apple News helped.
BYND is breaking out.
BYND
Is breaking out. I have no idea why.
I mean, let's take a look at that. But no, as for yeah, look at the volume step in here on.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah, that's in 15 right there. Good call out, Shreve. The momentum can be sustained, but one is the momentum in Intel. I thought this would be time news for the name. But today, you have to take into consideration, ever since the state government took that 10% stake, the stock has doubled, essentially. Around $23. Now you're trading around $40. That's a pretty good look. And I said that stake in the company, involved with it, and sure enough, they're starting to strike here, a little there. You small wins, and next thing you know, you're at levels guessed from before. Yeah, there goes B.
It's going, man. I'm keeping an eye on a $1.15 high. Keep your eye. I have no idea what it's moving, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out.
This INTC story, I do want to say a larger thing. Ming-Chi quoted the analyst who brought us this a lot here just on social media. In general, a lot of people are very willing to believe Ming-Chi quote their stock, and then they're immediately like, oh, he's just speculating. If they see something he does, was generally seems to be pretty on the money. He's from, as Shreve mentioned, half or Q3 here of 2027. So this is a long way down the line. Whether you like him or not, I think you should probably do his analysis from an analytical perspective. And he's going after my stock because he's had a lot of positive things to say about a variety of countries, or stuff isn't really bias specific. I also want to mention here, Lip-Bu-Tan, incredibly, for the stocks up almost 60% since his tenure in mid-March of 2025. So interesting. Today, December 1st, marks a year anniversary since your former CEO of Intel was ousted. The stock is up 65, almost 70%, and he left. So market clearly liked him, but to kind of build off what Shreve said too, I think this Intel buying started when Trump, but we know what starts to get Trumpist in Intel is when he starts concerns about Lip-Bu-Tan as CEO. Then these concerns, then he invests. So interesting. Yeah, I think Lip-Bu-Tan deserves a lot of the credit move.
All right, let's go on to next story. It's not obviously directly related to, but we're going to talk about Airbus. They have a big issue, and obviously their main competitor is Boeing, so we'll see if they can. Airbus shares drop over 10%. I don't know where that right now. Their worst session since March of 2020. Of course, March was the COVID sell-off after a new industrial quality flaw in fuselage panels on dozens of the smaller A3 there are of this same ilk. The issue, the delaying upcoming deliveries, though, suggests aircraft already in service or impact, according to the article. The fuselage law comes just days, Joey, after dealt with that major software affecting about 6,000 20 family jets globally. 40 affected aircraft have now been modified after the weekend disruption, which grounded more than half the fleet's large-scale delays. Yeah, one of the busiest times, at least in the United States, of course, Thanksgiving. The software failure linked to solar flares and operational chaos across major travel. We're talking about, spilling over into the U.S. travel. It impacted airlines all Asia, where there's a lot of A3, especially for those shorter haul flights. As far as Australia, Joe, Airbus, we always make fun of Boeing for using door plug and dish soap and jokes that we've made. But this seems like an industry. They seem the airline industry just to suck at the moment.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I'm thinking here, Shreve.
What do you think?
With us, it's like, okay, you're going to write the handbook of essentially what you do and how to have the FFA you, and then you're going to fall into this. Like, essentially, there's only two commercial airlines manufactured, airplane manufacturers. Yeah, Boeing and Airbus. So why are you guys complicating? Get it right the first time and do because you can dominate the space. There's no taking market share from you.
No, if you're talking about like Bombardier,
yeah, but that's such a small. Yeah, exactly.
Or even SSC talk about Embraer all the time. They're fine. They're just not
a fraction of a percent, right? It's literally, what does the market share that Boeing holds is 70s or something compared to what Airbus has, right?
I didn't know that, actually.
Substantially high.
Really?
Higher. It's not even close. And you guys can't get this right. You guys running them. If the SEC should be happy, Airbus and
it's about time that American regulators shake European companies because they shake down American companies all the time. I want to mention that the China revealed one of their airplanes, I should say, at the air show. It's not going to compete, but the China throwing their hat into the ring, and that's
of course they are.
So, tanking according to Fearless Creation.
Not tank.
I have no idea, brother. I'm just a Fearless Creation.
I'm looking
a little bit over here.
Drop $2.
All right, let's talk about Carvana. They got some love today from CVNA. Where is it now? Are we up or down? We're up 0.18 off the highs, but we're up. Launched coverage, so they initiated coverage. Carvana with a buy rating and a $40 price target, Katina Man, which is a 20% upsells on Friday. Analyst Joseph Spack, I wonder if he's friends with Chamath. Carvana as a true disruptor in the fragmented used car, and he cites accelerating customer migration towards online than the bump and grind kind of crap that you got with these used car dealers currently hold. Look at this, Joey. They only hold 1.5% vehicle car market, but UBS forecasting that could grow to 4%. So doubling by the end of the decade by 2030, saying as consumer adoption of purchasing increases. And saying they could even end that a little bit more. They're saying China has a stated internal 3 million units per year, and if that based on current numbers, 8% market share. UBS as possible, but not likely. Carvana's retail gross profit per unit, the NVIDIA GPUs, is 2 times the industry average. In UBS sustained GPU expansion as the company and extracts efficiency by inspecting and reconciliation centers, not buying cars that are going to be more trouble or harder to sell, as reconditioning them in a more way. The integration of some of these Odessa auctions, basically run the car auctions called Odessa sites. Also, wider cost optimizations. UBS is forecasting they could hit that 3 million unit per year, 5 to 10 years. So not the longest. The shares are up 84% year to date, Joey. Make fun of this stock. Where was this stock in 2022? $2. I think. What was that? No. Go back more.
$6.22, man. Yeah,
$6.
I mean, I find it hard the success this company has had. Call it weird, but it's interesting nonetheless. But with a consumer, how well can we perform in the long run? I think this thing has been going opposite for quite some time. I just find it really, really curious here, though. There was a short report, I'm pretty sure, somewhere, I dare correct me, it might have been, it wasn't in February, it might have been that, but someone dropped a short report on it, and it didn't go well whatsoever.
Dropped one, and I believe that was actually their last short report before they decided to close shop.
So there you go. But from that point lows, drastic in NASDAQ up 151%. What the consumer's weakening was cars. I don't know. Hindenburg dropped the short report.
It did. January.
Throw that out the window, Shree, because we're shorting it from that point is the water, because you're not far from those all-time highs, right? Like you're 9%, 8.5% exact.
Wow.
But I don't really seen a stock go from what we're getting at around 370 down to $3. No reverse split in between, going from $3 up to almost $400. See, I've never personally seen that before. I didn't think it was intense. Let alone in a space it is tough. The vehicle market is, and you have cars, especially these used cars.
Can I say one thing though? You know, a bit of a tailwind.
Why?
New cars suck. Number two, really expensive.
Really?
And they're starting price stupid.
As soon as you take it off the lot, you're down 10%.
Dude, can I tell you, man? I was driving a car on the weekend. Last year, he bought a C-Class price.
Yeah.
He bought an E-Class 15. Dude, what's all thick inside?
Yeah.
This is it's plastic everywhere. Have the Germans lost their way? I have no idea. German manufacturers, German people, but it's not impressed whatsoever. Driving. Yeah, he loves the car, but
it's strap on it and it's hollow. And
dude, it was thick everywhere. G-Talk, mids, sevens, 5. Thank you very much, my friend, for dropping. Please say happy birthday. Say happy birthday to my girl Bird. Happy birthday, Debbie. A lot of love from Joseph and I. We'll hear your boy G-Talk, mid something shouting you out there, and I hope you guys won. We're going to pause for a second.
Apple high of the day.
Look here at too much, but an interesting story. I was hearing that he is apparently joining of other companies that are suing for refunds should tariffs quote unquote fail. So I guess tariffs aren't really the boom that they've been promised to be. Costco will be one of those companies suing for that case. I do want to mention as well, it will be about 2 minutes until we get Caroline Leavitt, White House, of course, the White House press secretary, often market and market-related things mentioned during these briefings. I'll be keeping an ear on anything happens of note. I will.
Hey, let's talk about Disney. A strong showing for Zoo. I don't even know what that is. I don't care. Record weekend, apparently. So, 2025 Thanksgiving box office. A little bit less than 300 million. 5 days, ranking as the third strongest Thanksgiving, depending on the sales total Sundays totals. Disney's Zootopia, the period with an $1 million in sales, powering the overall holiday. The weekend trailed the years of 2018 as well as 2024, marked one of the best holiday box office on record. Should mention that Disney up 2% and near the day's high. Zootopia 2 delivered global opening for an animated ever, totaling $156 million and ranked fourth largest global any film. Okay, maybe is back. I have no idea. As well, too, Joey. People like that IMAX reported Thanksgiving weekend 40.8 million. That's up 7% from the 2020 was a record, by the way. So good look here, which I'm not gonna even. But good look there for Disney.
Wicked is wicked. That's actually from though.
Where?
Wicked. That's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
Wicked. No, but in all seriousness, I didn't think Zootopia like that. That's pretty interesting. As for Disney, slow market share from some of these big time streamers, the likes of Netflix and continuing to gain its ground. Pipeline is extremely important, through a dead era when it comes to the box office. Quite some time, slowly starting. Snow White, that was a complete dud.
Oh, yeah, that didn't really.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the live was a complete disaster. It's good to see things start to come to play, but I don't know. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves, but in this type of time, deserves to be one of the best animated, totally at the box. It's insane. But once again, pipeline is huge, but performing good whatsoever, and that's considering the parks segment.
I was at the theater. I watched like it's called Black Panther. Thing that I saw in the theater, and that was like before COVID.
Yeah, but I mean, like, think about it. See, in some of these major theaters, just go where they are. Everybody just streams at home. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not.
And saying, Joey, that they're really Darth trade. They're raising ticket prices. Tickets sold are down. Okay, so it's like a higher total, like actual individual sales are down. I didn't know that. But that's what you're saying there.
With AIM theaters closing shop left, there is very many here in Ontario.
See any AMCs? There used to be that was gone.
There was one in Vaughan as well.
Vaughan, I remember that.
The highway from.
I remember that, and that's probably why it closed. Because it's
gone. Yeah, it's gone.
AMC, I noticed, is Cineplex here, right? All right, let's go on to the next story. Exiting South American $1 sale of United Health Group has agreed to sell its last South American to Brazil's Patria for a cool billy. The deal, a multi-year effort to fully exit the Latin American market after divestitures in Brazil. Banmedica rate in Colombia and Chile, serving 1 million insurance members and 7 hospitals and 47 or so. Big company boosted its profit outlook and expects a return growth in 2026 with an acceleration coming 7. The financial impact of America here, they were $0.3 billion loss slide to the divest continent. They lost $7 million in Brazil, $1 from Banmedica, and the exit closes, Joey, weighed on the company's results. They're looking at something else with that.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. Down 63. I mean, there's been a lot of age over the past, I guess, year, November of 2024. And they're slowly starting to rebound. Small wins, you want to accumulate, right? We had the death of the CEO, well, too. So, I'm stepping away. I don't know. Maybe that's a better place, Sharif. Books, but you can't deny the fact middle of the summer you still have from the lows here, around 60% at the 40% off of those lows. I wouldn't if this name recovers a little bit.
Something company is going to figure a way to return ability, or like, it is profitable to the old ways. And here's why I say that they have the boomers, old, and they're all going to require insurance. And the thing that would be a tailwind for them. But look what is doing. They're in health companies, whoever it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
In the margins. So the government's broke, don't have any money, they can't pay out. So what are they going to do? They're going to basically or put pressure on some of these companies. So to me, you've got a tailwind in one and in another.
Mm-hmm. I find it interesting when we talk about the government. It's just like, what do you do with all that money? Like, think about how many levels were taxed on.
Let's not get it.
What goes on here?
Where the money goes, bro?
How do you run deficit? Literally every individual who's taxed.
I don't know, bro. And it's not just pay tax. Like that's like tax 4 times. Good,
right?
brother.
It's not hard.
Nothing we can do about it. So you're just gonna pay yourself at this point.
How many times
Can't do
the
anything,
same dollar is? It's insane, and they don't have any Like, what's our mayor's name?
Yeah, of course I can, Assassino.
Yeah.
But if I do our mayor, I'm gonna. I have a really funny.
You know what?
I have a copy of her, Joey.
Your tickets are going to be $200, and then there's going to be an increase on your property tax.
Every year, it's already up 25. 3 years. I got a rep. Fantastic. Let me know when, Assassino. All right, new traders, listen. Where are you at? The first month absolutely free. That's we're waiving all the fees so you can trade smarter. All by up experience will you analyze, you'll capitalize on their platform. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast sites, and game-changing charts. You can predict better with their back testing to get reliable. Global markets at the tips of your finger in one platform, so do not execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? QR code or check the description of the video. Shout out. No. And this one, shout out to Bob. Still trading this. Look at this one. That's chart, eh? CNCK up 750. In the third, it's up 125. CNCK, and most notably, find at key areas. Price, the 10 EMA on the 5. I like that. I like that. Shows. I hate to use that word predictability, but that it is kind of with these indicators. So CNCK 26%, and a couple. I feel like by the time I'm done over here, it's going to be above 7. Currently, the high of the day. The next story, though, test cases, another sharp drop in Europe. Again, their November register fell sharply year over year, 58% in France, 39% in Denmark. France, they sold about a little bit less than 100 cars, and in Denmark, 534 cars. Yeah, units. The Model Y, top seller all across, only 23rd in Denmark, only sold 206 of Denmark, so 206 out of those more. Yeah. I got a text on the weekend, unsolicited, from diesel me into a Model Y. They're giving 0.99% on range on the performance. You're still paying 9.9.
Yeah.
But look, so they're subsidizing that rate, by the way. Tesla's European slowdown began after CEO Elon publicly supported right political figures, even though Musk toned down his political reputational risk here, or hit, I should say, quite sticky. But the reasons why Tesla's not performing, most notably, competition, especially from Chinese who are rapidly expanding in modern designs at low points, mind you. In some ways, by the way, endless warn, Joe, alone cannot fix. Consumers increasingly view Tesla EVs as equal to than their Tesla cars. However, the Model 3, one of these, Joey, is not yet available in Europe. A potential recovery. It's not apparently one of the standard range, I think.
Yeah.
Not available in Europe.
I think it's interesting for quite just seen the decline of global dominance. Again, when you're at the top of, there's only really one way to go, and unfortunately that's down. And that we had the D's coming into play, market share, right? It's just as I'm not going to put all of mention, obviously, China coming into Europe, but yes, the brand is substantial, but do you think that was just something led to almost in many ways with China coming into play? Hey, we don't want to mind what we're doing. We're just going to find a cheaper alternative equally as good and start stepping in. And just, you see in that, but that's because they're and have the ability to go on that growth. Seen Tesla do multiple. So what I'm getting at here is when you're at the top of the, unfortunately, there's only one way to go.
You know, you're bang on because you point when like Tesla held of the EV market share, everybody, this number can only go up, right?
Not going to take from. I mean, it's oranges, but we're seeing that in space now. And do we think that?
Obviously, yeah. We don't have an NVIDIA headline today. If we did deep into ASIC, which is obviously application specific, if we have to talk about that, actually very disrupting to NVIDIA, but for a different day. Derek on Tesla.
Because honestly, it used to flummox me, like, sure, well, Tesla has become the most sold in Norway ever, surpassing Volkswagen, which set this benchmark back. Now, Tesla has sold more in Norway. Again, did that year, and the year hasn't even done yet. So great look here for TSLA Norway. And it's interesting too, as mentioned this morning, no, Denmark, that was specifically Model 3, not Model 1. Norway is doing really well. Why? So I continue to find it very interesting. Teeny little scan, so many more Teslas compared to its year. I do have to give Norway a quick shout out. I mean, like, I continue to want to keep focusing it this here on Norway and Europe. Like, hey, maybe the areas where that maybe don't want you, and focus your country that clearly loves what your novel idea. But I think at this point, it's definitely put. I have to give a hats off to the Norwegian team, and I also have to mention Caroline now taking questions here. She hasn't said anything of note to the market yet, guys.
But you would,
yeah,
their smallest car, what's
the 3?
In Europe?
I think that would be.
Hold on, car in Europe. That's the thing, right? Me, if Elon really needle in Europe to their market demand, and that's generally for smaller cars.
No.
Despite the fact that we mentioned about a Model 2 or a Model they were calling, we didn't get that, Joey.
No.
We got a wise and cheaper Model because he doesn't have the space.
Yeah.
So he's just varying the current past.
Do you think that he's maybe onto a narrative of foreign vehicle, you drive around to the higher end consumer, etc.
That's right? Fine, but like you can't just walk, blood continue like, hey, let me not do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you think or not, the curve quite big. They do have buying power, so
Well, I mean, buying Model 3 registrations at 300 units in the month of November.
well, Joey, it doesn't mean they're not buying cars. If we look at
Exactly, they're not buying in a day.
that's what I'm saying.
With 300,
I don't know.
triple digits is, man.
Anyway, let's go on and talk a little silver here over this one quickly because we don't have too many. But silver's been long known as the devil's metal, not 420, but the devil's metal. It hit reaching 54.40 October, and year-over-year increase before partially. Experts say the current cycle is from past spikes like in 1980 because a powerful tight supply as well as demand, not just starting to take hold here. So they're saying for tune this time around. Time will tell. Deliveries also became so some buyers flew silver to meet their obligations. Inventories have fallen from 31,000 metric tons in 22,000 metric tons in years, and the October pushed overnight borrowing rates, Joey, to 200% annualized. Traders and exacerbating the spike of silver, man. Additionally, these tend to run for a lot longer and then back.
I mean, I'm going back in the history of this. I'm not seeing any drastic. Nothing's crazy. I guess with what we're experiencing, but this Sharif, that it was in a decline. So I find it just what we're seeing the Chinese do, stacking up that gold an insane amount. I think we're seeing this in the likes of. So I mean, I don't know if you can say the longer the consolidation out. Well, think about it. You were $4 or $5 range, 5 years, almost 4 years. So can this move be so? And especially if over here is like going back to the in which we're seeing gold continue to climb. I'm not going to call it almost a catch up, and compared to what we've seen over over a year. Gold has been absolutely on multiple occasions that we were going to cool down. Run. You're on essential run.
Take it from Jan. This year, let's just do this. Supposed to do what is that, the monthly?
Yeah, the weekly. So we'll go to January.
Yeah. What's that? All right, let's see what silver is at. 60.
No, that's pretty good, man.
We
go to January 5 here.
Where's that at?
Here, 26. There, we'll get it precise.
What are we at?
96. But yeah.
So it's outperforming gold.
It's outperforming. Like, think about it. It's outperforming. And it has
sure, we're almost at the end of the year.
But definitely in the past couple of months.
That,
right? So
certainly see that. Talk a little bit here about multi-cloud networking, and it's a good look after the October by AWS on Google jointly unveiled cloud networking. Customers create private high in AWS and Google instead of weeks. The move targets and for high reliability, even with brief aware outages can cause. It's a strategic strategic cloud interoperability. Understanding it was great from one cloud provider. They're making it a little bit. This is, of course, a month after the October outage, which affected global websites. We're talking about Snap, Reddit's all were down. Metrics estimates U.S. bid between $650 million in losses from that single event. Point service is positioned to reduce that cloud providers, Joey. So what do you make? Not really the biggest headline, but AWS cloud leader following Google.
No, I think it's continuously moving forward and makes the obviously the hyperscalers or whatever it may be who are using and buying. So as for Google and Amazon, going to be some of the key drivers. Amazon, I think, with A is going to weigh in the Google Cloud. Why? Because we have the obvious and then US and hyperscale spending on money. So slowly get more in the pipeline and more possible. I think it's very interesting, to be honest with you. I think you're going to start to see that. Who knows, with Azure, you might see visuals came up after.
Micron at the day's 100%. On the back of this, one end, about $9.6 billion new advanced memory plant, high bandwidth memory. According to Nikkei, construction is expected to begin in a 6. It is with shipments beginning, so it's a longer term capacity expansion. The economy, trade and industry, the $503.2 billion is for the build out, offer substantial foreign chip makers. Taiwan Semi, with their goal to rely less on see that to be flux, and we know what the new president of Japan in whatever I think would I don't know what the legislative body is called there, but sort of overtures about she would have to do what Japan would have to do was moved on China, and that some tensions between the two. And with memory demanding big time due to rapid machine learning, and the new plant strengthens Micron's positioning in Hynix as well as Samsung, and leads a pack. SK Hynix are 1 on 3, so the South dominate HBM. No, HBM, you get a lot of inventory stuff, and all of a sudden, through the bottom of it at one point. So it's very
happens at that point when you see just obviously the data, and sure enough, it's like, okay, all of this capacity and for it, and that's when you can see that really start to come into collapse of specific names and the forefront. As we talk about the build out, will cool down, because when they do, you're talking a lot of these stuff.
I had CSI, which I thought to be hilarious, because this is taking Canadian Solar's name of the company, and this was an Alfred in the day. This was during the pandemic. Just tanked solar lately. Just what this one one did way.
Oh,
Look at this thing was like in April, and this thing's up. This thing at 46, and now I mean back to 36 bucks, $7 for Canadian solar. I'll buy like a couple, a husband and wife, that is, but in any back up to 1.9 billion market cap, so not a bad. Just want to mention that super quick. Do you have anything that we're done in the new segment with about?
I'm literally just sitting. I took my attempts for the day. I'm good with just chilling, more precise, and if I don't find anything at all whatsoever, look at Apple, a new intraday high. One.
I like it.
280.
I like it very much.
It's just a steady bit. That was the listen. I'm looking to trade. What do I have to do? Meg 7. I said I'm worried about.
Which,
Sure enough, it's putting it.
you were right.
So, yeah, you just gotta stick with that. Continuously try to knock this one on the shore because it's one of those days losing your ish. Why isn't it going down? Why not looking at the right? Apple continuing to climb higher, starting to rebound. Meta bounced at average price. And two, what has this guy been up to? Coming off of those highs, trading above the volume weighted average. Ask me, no, yet be patient, wait until the mark to see if narrative changes, if it doesn't, because it wants to sell. It's you're having those micro no sellers.
It's a good thing. Let's bring up speak about it on from there about we'll pull that bad boy up super quick over here of topics. Give me that up Assassino. Pull that up real quick. Where is it going? We got it here, Joey. That Apple counterpoint reports that was responsible for overall singles day smart counting for 20 units. Total China, but if you take Apple, they actually dropped 5. How heavily demand in China, something that in quite some time, 21 or 22, sales Joey recorded outpacing the month-long promotion. We're talking about which is more, even with heavy promotion, Singles Day apparently in terms of consumer enthusiasm and recovery as a juggle somewhat remain a standout area, remain selective to buy only when brand Apple, according to the clear exception. Huawei, though, dropped in terms of market 17% last year, down. A lot of it had to do with the made a bit late, as well as percent that normal, but their launch cycle was a little bit off in time. I don't know. Apple in China be this one day and then you're not good. So
I mean, you've seen some of the this hand gestures, crazy.
Plenty of stuff.
Did you watch only on Siri?
He actually said it's not bad.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So I use voice, of course. And now when I search, I can just even to chat. And if it doesn't, which is kind of cool, the new Apple CarPlay, these widgets, so to the Apple CarPlay, it only used to break down one, then your icons one. There's a widgets, and there's a widget so I can hit the voice, I can have a conversation and remove Siri so you can get them.
I think that's what a lot of people are doing, right? Just eliminating Siri to chat. What I really want to see in Siri is kind of
Exactly.
right, like take control. Like do something, just go ahead and do it. Thing like you go, hey Siri, and sure enough, it can almost as far as it goes. It can't do anything by settings that manually.
100%.
Which is
and you're looking at it on the screen.
yeah.
So, for example, if a friend messages you specific, maybe about you like an option to click something, man.
Did pay come out? Can text? You remember when they were talking about it? I think the Apple
money.
I think some of my friends in America. Yeah, I think so. I think that's something that needs well too. Is just hey, group chat, add a little bit of cash.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It's exactly. All right, guys. Here's BYND. I don't know. It's still up 6%. Let's have a look. Who came in on BYND, guys? The stream. Our call. Oh, okay. My platform. Yeah, but you're absolutely. Let's have a look over here. Where we've got frozen quotes, so they'll be talking about that shortly. Still trading near the highs, guys. Still not seeing a rebound, but we did get the break, leave at around 115. Maybe it looks like 1 o'clock. Previous day high at $1.22. And this is saying bullish D shares up near option light was 70 traded and calls leading call ratio of 0.0 compared to the 0.4 stability. Nothing why this is moving up. So BYND up 4% on the day, I should say. CNCK, look, 90, which is holding 7, and most notably this technical 75, 6 up a little bit higher than the $0.50, around 60s or higher. We're above 7 right now. I'd rather this area hold 50 and then a continuation back through 8, and here we could see $10 on the day. Only up 117. I says FLY 200, almost 300. So it goes, Joey, 7, looking to take out CNC all over this. Holding from like 4. So shout out to this one on. Not a bad look. FLY CNCK BT was my biggest lose by HAMA. Otherwise, FLY and CNCK negatory. Hopefully, we'll do a little bit better tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking to come back with a event. Obviously, calm, cool, and cucumber. Hope everyone has a fantastic those risk measures in place. Today, accept it because we have you still have half of a one trading session.
All right, guys.
So,
What's up, everybody? We come back quotes. So live quote is working on that. So we may have trading view. I think it's a good time to talk about that. And you're noticing that quotes are down, or you could do is, or if you're in position, still good, and contact your broker. Because we saw last was having some issues, right? And the thing
for them too.
yeah, and we just sit there and trade blind. So I would say that if you and you're with it is frozen quotes, right?
The thing to do is confirm, because if execution's up, you're working, your take profit. It's for getting into position. That be like we can still show you an example. Like if I pull up, say, Tesla, seeing old prices, realistically, we can go to like I happen to have these signal up here, so I can go with 3 minute.
Meter's going crazy.
Beyond, I can control the kid in theory, like I could look signal, and I can over on P Pro, which is the we used to trading. So, but we're also in contact office because it's an action and not bear with us for a little bit. Make sure that I am in, because I now have them both.
I'm in
close and reopen.
Toby screens over here. Toby Maguire.
Throw a guard, something in the hamper.
Oh, does Kobe? Yeah, that's what
He's like, Kobe.
And then he's
Kobe.
It's like a.
She she loves basketball, but like for
our story you had, because it's down 8%.
Michael Saylor has raised some capital obligations. Yeah, MST are not doing incredibly well. I'm not telling you guys anything. Strategy has a hot minute. It's been looking, but yeah.
Here was Beyond Meat,
really?
Joe, I guess, or Sharif. There we go. Darkness is upon us. There goes Beyond Meat up 20. It did figure out that it wanted that doll, holding it. Eventually, bang. Again, there's not there. There is a point here for Beyond Meat. So let me just say, there's that hold as we continue to go. If there is any sort of a story, flow and Beyond Meat shares up. No main Beyond Meat right now. This is what we're talking about with our down. So you'll get eyes and new quote, get live quote through all the names, and immediately, anyways. And if you are SoFi and big names today, SoFi, it's nice to see the NAP around zero as well. We can look at what down. You can see this quote now working zeros. There on the NASDAQ, green there today. All-time on, Apple, click. Now I can't even click on Apple. So highs being, I think it was 2 prior to 38. Right now, Apple just, what happened to this name? They like a week and a half ago or so, and 3 or 4 or 5 caught the story last. Getting together here, the deal inside of there was some of their chips, so continuously going higher today. Out early, I'm going to come back and I'll pass the meal in a second, but looking to go short on 20 was, guess what, looks like we're here on higher as well, so that's and then NVDA aim to watch out for 180. What about a break or 180 high of the day for NVDA? Man, period. No, there we have the quotes again. Pause there. It looks 157. So those for us, but you could see for NVIDIA back team here to helping with that is nice upside play. We were out there on the 238.50. Brad, that's a nice positive win from Qs where we were short. So one up on Micron, up on TQ, so worth of gain. 7 looking to get involved. Yeah, great. Now I can go to now back about things. Now that I can, I still want to get long.
Yeah, and it's sort of very 15. That's on the longer end, but I feel like it's like not everybody's only been us, but absolutely fine because I know are it short to this prior bar stop the quote to be able to show you, but it's all the way to the average price, and then obviously with Bitcoin exactly having, I want to jump back a little bit to see where that continuation short, but yeah, we'll that you guys are interested in. Dollar signs in there. Love it. Toby, BB, SMC, Palantir, but also to throw in that. And yeah, there's Palantir green. The NASDAQ went moment. I thought it rolling here pretty strong, runs into Friday's close. Maybe not a certainly being like it's close to like some kind of a setup for sure. We got ability to show. Thank you very much. I can't see this up the option. I don't have a source up for the options. Friday was a 10% for that. I mean, anytime earnings, you're going to see some. I'm sure if we a bunch right now, we can. He'll send it to me, and I'll be able to enjoy. We had for lunch, which was it was pretty good. Teriyaki sauce, and I made it or something, but like when I eat marinade in the meat.
Yeah, they just kind of like some teriyaki sauce. So it wasn't bad.
But there was kale. So.
There was a white on if there was that. Oh no, I just knew that it was happening. Or mentioning if the Trump was speaking or anything, but raid here and then. But Tesla had themselves a day as was an identified earlier on as 30, and that looks so double top at around 10 o'clock. The upside was Tesla. Loving that rate. Love the pretty impressed with that on it. A couple weeks ago, snowed just a little. My time on Saturday with the tires swimmingly. She just asked me, probably all winter tires. You know, I take it everywhere, so back and blah blah blah. Here on Frost, small battery, so it's basically we'll drive that throughout the weekend. And today I was like, I plug it in and it's full again. So repeat every week. So yeah, looking to but the Model Y's find the F. Just charger here. You know, like if I had it's like charging it is gas right now, but it's not at the. So I feel like if you ask ChatGPT of the cost, putting gas into your car to fill it, let's just say, charge will give you from like it's like that, and from my house only about 12 kilometers. Okay, we'll talk there about Tesla. Into that, of course, was on the. Ooh, all right. I'll tell you about the winter tire. Sharif. Yes. I have a lot of we are very thrifty marketplace opportunity to buy winter tires. You just hope that slowly storing.
Place to get this before you get.
Oh yeah. You're into that too.
Get Lego there too.
Lego, I get. The only problem pieces, but
okay, so
you can always replace.
People that are somewhat actual
would be.
They're pretty about what's with it and what figures.
Little figures, yeah.
Well, I like make sure you meet and then see. I want to see all the figures.
At this time, I think it might still be up. National Lamp, we have that Lego. That's a good one. Maybe exactly that is.
That's so.
Get it with lights. Maybe we should.
What? You just gave me.
Just so you guys know, this is what point. But the thing is, like per usual,
how mine's long.
I have and apparently I just go sticky note, and that's a big thing, right? Exactly, that's the thing. I just do this, the social media stuff. This lines. It's like it doesn't easy, just straight off the cuff.
No.
Yeah, memorize. My guy.
I believe the memory. Do like a speech or
Pulls notes. Like
no, like always always like point form. You should know your topic. So it's in my ear, SMC.
I just heard something about.
That's weird.
The whole market ran up near.
Here in front of
Yeah,
that's
there
a
was.
pretty distances or anything. Cause that's
that might have been. Maybe there was. Just,
let's go get the as the markings for potential on there apparently.
Oh.
Everyone that talk about every lock, and they are loaded. The takers get those takers. They need more assets to the chat and vote for your favorite. Throw in that whatever taker of your choice. So at all forms, we're talking, but we're still negative on all forms. Negative on the NQ. The ES faring a little bit worse, but looking down 1/4%, down 0.5%. The day wasn't over 4/5 of a and most low 2,500 points at the Russell. Though the number one size and the Tesla's registrations EV maker remains stuck in. We're talking about Elon Musk in Europe as well as really get on the continent. Tesla in terms of price down.
Percent high day for Tesla.
Yeah.
So it just essentially, which is I'd say a little, kind of the shape of like the nice rally or decent rally able to pull up that at 433, and that there just were no 33. And so unless you forget about it, 25 effective. That's exactly what we say. So consolidated. So for now, decent for 425. You do for a little bit of gap fill. Just wait here for average as well on the daily. So they stands from moving average on the so struggle tech, and if we're going to make that highs, the 15-minute above long, just have but I mean it won't happen. That's
no, I regressed and all that for Teslas. But that's the cost. I don't think they're going to be affected. December the 10th, it looks like it's 1% or so. They're just if they have or probably getting ahead of that. But yeah, 420. Think if the market. I'm trying to get along the team to discuss that, but back in here, and for me, trade that we could be pretty short and out right there. So I never would have gone the second, kind of up to probably a loss. We don't mind like going short somewhere around there, like that. The next time you could the high that it made in the first twice. and that would have, you know, or so. I like Tesla. Long is, and it's not where we had in our 17 little drip action with NASDAQ falls liquidated, or there is. I don't mind buying them for a Tesla. So days when you really ones when risk, like on Elon's comp, and so we know this has been a successful one. So yeah, it surprised me there. Sort of the sticky note. I don't know what's next. I don't. This is a, if not more. Our market cap is 3, but they're going before. I don't. 4, 5, like just 10 years. But they're cracking, clap, but man, and they're having lunch. We actually, right now, we're gonna, because it's for soon, don't worry. And she asked me, trying to, I start sitting over there. I said, what are you working at? Was her interesting phone. Okay. Her ears. What that called? So if you battery would be up like this to work out, but right now I think this is, whether you know the end can use the Apple of markets. I only do 12 and now early, but straight.
Super. Sounds like crazy. Changes. Top 30 goal ballpark. BT while may continue to see the U.S. Canada TV 100 registering 15. Check the link. He tried to die. It's interesting. Tesla.
Yeah. Want to claim that right now. A couple of notes. Morgan Stanley rating, but up 50 good look. They took a maker there is the
S&P.
You can see I saw so that was perfect segue
for me. Just
could just after next
there should be.
Goodness chart. My life. You know, on me. 3-minute chart might be happy. You can see that. Hope no in run. So if it keep price on Friday half and then have to be about to, like, it had significance more than 15 load up 50. Love this. I buying all range on Friday that open. Well, Wednesday, Tuesday, but and then Friday into the afternoon. They're talking about them trying to break into, and then that looking for.
We have no doubt earlier around 50. So rate loss this was 200 average rate. Try to see of a little bit 70 like I want. If we break which is this part of that wick here. If we break anywhere, then on this, it in my 75 average in now on the TQ. New position alert. If we can get, then we'll see somewhere 30 TQ. And on to, when I heard
that the press conference now as next over here, BYN brought this to you guys. Buck age during the midday show, $1.40 a day. I note here this YNDC amidst the price fluctuation, with 2.8% on BY breakout news.
Squeeze into now one day because it will close. It was 2 days. It was 1 day. Time it was only today a bit better. I 117 level in here. For my head, this chart. I do move my head. See, dollar half one retest dollar half to wait for. I mean, if there's no story for that short and wait for 40% struggling with that unfit early, should close and they need to close. I think it's like in a row. So for it is sustained to do the last squeeze here from this, but it's dead cat bound. Say this can't last a couple. Got big one of something.
During the in the chat right now, a lot of in the chat where that 120. The only way it just gets billions of shit to get through anything that I think that, but reality gets going for twos, a fill, so 130, then get, but like you need 130 short thing, like 110, and then that way, like the support here, like so slow down, fill up, handle. Such a huge decisive. That's one bottom. There's no. I would look 1/3 at this. We did it in a break 3 gates.
Flaws. Take a look. Like cars, they until the cycles like float and share 95 that 20.
Company's actually a little on high. Head. Oh, that first gun. That's their close. Multiple, maybe part is big pullback. Unfortunately, I'm just shocking. So you can have the full good. Was nothing. Team all data 12. I don't. Okay. It's in your level, health, and I'm if you curl and open together in five must stay.
I'm not that oh, is what we give it to said that we are trained by view we are like so this position. Nice move. We'll see if it can. I'm negative on that all happen. Here goes. We can get it up, get maybe I didn't say. Honestly, we would get then what was market I would kind of out in for play. So let long leash the Blue Jays, but this is short leash